The first thing that we want to cover, though, is something that we brought up in the last podcast, and that is the fact that this big old bad boy, in full, is no longer going to be on the SubPar in HD YouTube. That's because, as we mentioned last episode, basically YouTube's algorithm is a piece of shit, and it takes everything from percentage watched. So while people are watching on average 25 minutes, which is great, that means that is only sort of like 17% of the video. So YouTube's algorithm is like, oh, people only watch 17% of their videos, they're a bit crap. Bastard. So we're going to put full episodes on a different YouTube channel. And there was a suggestion in the comments, I believe from Oh My Hessness, saying that the channel should be called SubPar but MP3.
That's
and
very good.
I am all for that. Are we in agreement?
I'm kind of massively against it.
Okay.
Because we actually upload in WAV files.
How about then, same theme, slightly different wording, SubPar but Poddy C? Because you said SubPar Poddy C, but if you put the but in there, then it rhymes with in HD.
Tell you what, best of both worlds, SubPar but WAV file.
It would be quite funny if we actually
people would
changed
fucking
it to
hate
that.
us. People would really hate us. SubPar but the full episode as a WAV file.
What about SubPar but WAV?
Not against it. I like how accurate
a lot of things
it is.
rhyme with E. Do you know what I mean? We've got a lot to play with there.
W-A-V. So people can't just read it as WAV. It's D-U-B-L-E-Y-E-W
A-Y-V-E-E.
Yes.
I'm down for that. Sold to the man at the back with the hair. What's up with your hair today? You were moaning at it before we started recording.
I've got a fan behind me, which you can't hear. Well, I've kind of actually meant it so it's burned directly on it because Cole has done some really good noise reduction. But
thank you.
My office gets really hot and it's like blurring my hair out of my headphones. So like it's not like pinned in. It's like flopping in my face. It's annoying me.
You had like one big old strand of hair that was coming from your hairline. It was
big.
it was mocking me personally. That one strand of hair was going, hey Cole, this is what you could have had if you had decent genes.
It literally went from my hairline past my nose. Which is impressive.
It is impressive.
So, people are thinking this might make it into the highlighted episode on the main channel because we will also be uploading 15 to 20 minute-ish. Let's say a shit episode and we get like 12 minutes worth, and it'll just be 12 minutes. Deal with it. Highlight chunks, and they'll be going onto our main channel, so people can still hear what we've spoken about. It can be for shorter journeys. It can just be like, pop it on while you're doing the dishes. You don't have to commit to an hour and a half episode. And there's a market for that. I would probably personally be the market for that as well. And people have asked for it. So we will give you exactly that. So, well done, the internet. You got your fucking way.
Long story short, Endpoint ended up then beating Karen, which is ex-TSM, and Stonkers, which is ex-Espanol.
Which is another thing that we need to cover, to be fair, because TSM have dropped their roster, as have Espanol. And the two worst team names ever to come into any tournament in Rocket League, Karen and Stonkers. Which I respect.
Actually, a lot, the fact that they both had such shitty team names. But yeah, Virtuoso tweeted after finally surviving, saying, I really want to thank LOR Eclipse for the motivational talk he gave me after the Solari series to play how I used to in RLRS, and I didn't even know words can be so powerful. Go give my coach a follow, he fucking deserves it. Yes, Eclipse.
We love Eclipse.
Our boy. He mentioned us as well, didn't he, on the broadcast?
He did. Eclipse is like, he's absolutely fantastic. There was also, just quickly, about E United and Gregan, because there was a little mini, like 1 minute comms video released of E United playing their pro relegation tournament, and you hear in there a cheeky little Gregan voice just being like, come on, well done, woo, let's go.
Sounds so British amongst all these American voices.
It does. But yeah, no, it was great. So yeah, Gregan is like doing some coaching, I guess, for them, which is very cool. And they are, the United stayed up in the end versus Charlotte Phoenix in a Game 7 overtime. Yes. So United make it, and it looks like they've got Gregan behind them. Is he still a neutral coach? You'll have to keep an eye on TSM. They end up going down. But wait, they're not TSM anymore. They are called Karen, and Remkoe has a retirement that's like 98% locked in at this point, because there's always rumours that no matter, basically they weren't doing well. Remkoe wanted to retire last season, but they couldn't drop 2 players, that kind of thing. Maybe it was locked in. We have literally no idea. But he carried on playing, and they ended up being dropped from the RLCS, and he tweeted afterwards saying, "Thanks for the memories, love heart." This must just basically be the final nail in the coffin. No org, dropping to the RLRS. Is this the final straw? And how are you feeling about it? Because Remkoe's like OG is OG, and he's still young. But is it now time for him to just leave competitive behind?
I mean, I'm not going to speak for him and say yes, it's time for him to leave competitive behind. If he's still enjoying it, knock yourself out. You've still got a place in the rival series. You can have a couple more seasons. You might even get promoted. Do you know what I mean? This might be the spark that he needs to continue a career. But the impression that I've always got on Twitter and the way they play, the sort of the car body language, as it were, which is a phrase I picked up from an article a few days ago, never seemed positive to me. I see this more for Remkoe as not the final nail in his coffin, but a weight off his shoulders. I've been thinking for the entire second half of the season, this, based on what he's tweeting, this cannot be good for him to still be playing for an org such as TSM with so much pressure. To me, it didn't seem to be doing him any good. But again, I am, to an extent I'm projecting. I'm not inside his head. I don't know if that's the case. But I just hope that that is how he's feeling. That he wakes up the day after relegation and just thinks, oh, finally, I'm free.
Yeah.
I can do something else with my life. I can spend time doing X, Y, Z that I've wanted to do.
Even if he wants to go into coaching or something.
Exactly. If he wants to stay in Rocket League, then great for him,
I think it's one of those moments where, like you said about his Twitter, where he said before that I don't know the exact wording, but he said that he feels he was having mental health issues and he was having lots of problems, and that seemed to be the general consensus in the replies was, look after yourself.
Exactly.
Just, you're number one, you focus on number one. That's all you need to do. Get yourself into a good mindset before really diving into another thing. And maybe that's hard because a lot of people wouldn't be able to just say, yeah, I've had my 5 years of competitive, I'm just going to step away now.
Especially as a former world champion.
It's hard. It's really hard. I can't imagine that situation. And whatever he decides to do, if he decides to keep playing, I will support him. And if he decides to then step away from Rocket League entirely, absolutely fantastic. Still support him. All that kind of stuff. He was a massive, massive influence on so many people. Where the replies from pros were like Tadpole was saying, "I saw you lift a trophy in season 3, and that inspired me." And things like that, where you just think, shit, he has been seen by millions and millions and has changed lives. And there's lots and lots of love at SubPar Industries towards Remkoe for everything that he's done for Rocket. We are going to be talking about Tox. Oh, baby, this was juicy. So, bit of context for who didn't see it, because I've never heard of this child. He plays for Stonkers, who are ex-RCD Espanyol. And he tweeted mid-series versus Endpoint in the losers finals, which usually we're all about. We love that. We've said it with Retals and stuff. It's quite fun. However, he did a truly pathetic take, and he tweeted after they lost, saying, quote, "most undeserved loss ever."
What a man.
Which is very funny that you'd even consider tweeting that. Later, he then deleted that tweet. Fair enough, realised it was an error. Not too worried about that, to be honest. Mid-series thing, fine, go ahead, I don't really give a shit. Loads of people replied with question marks. Turbo replied with yikes. just yikes. And then the same night, he was seen to have said on Discord, this is from @DramaRLErt, CBA, I clapped them all. Literally played like a world champ. I don't even care.
I love him!
Well, Turbo, again, had the best response. He said, as a 4-time world champion, Forbes under 30, DreamHack champion, a Gnarly 2 champion, BTS champion, hopefully I didn't forget something. I can confirm this isn't it, Chief. And everybody was just like, shit, yeah, no, fair play. He then also called Virtuoso from Endpoint a fake clip and said, we're going to bleep that, and said, don't message me again.
That's a bit less funny, but all right.
Yeah, it's a bit less funny. He... The message just saying, literally played like a world champ. I
So
love
good.
how, firstly, confident it is, and secondly, how wrong it is.
And also that it throws both his teammates under the bus as well.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's their fault. I couldn't have done any more.
I literally played like I don't know what I could have done. I then looked back at the game to see if I could clip something funny. And there was, in one match, about 4 or 5 moments where he just scuffed a shot, where he like didn't hit it particularly cleanly, where he cut off a teammate, where he's trying to do everything on the team and just fucked everyone over. Where you look at his perspective, and he was truly being a pain in the arse.
What a legend, though. I love it so much. To be fair to him, where's he from? Where's Tox from? Because I can do the accent. I'm going to find out right now. Is it Spanish?
I believe
For
he's
everyone being
Espanol.
upset about my behaviour, I'm very sorry that I tweeted mid-series. That I
Sorry,
early, but
but
it was
sorry,
my dream to make
sorry.
RLCS and compete with the best. The game versus Solari killed me because I felt like we should have taken the series. I'll try to better myself and control my emotions. GG's to all the teams we played.
I'm so sorry to every single Spanish listener. Normally I do the accents, because I normally nail them at the start of the episode.
What did the Irish virtuoso say in response?
Hello, dear man, I didn't mean to shit on you or anything. I can understand why you're angry, but that was completely out of proportion. If you didn't tweet me, Tin, I wouldn't have tweeted about your behaviour and still be friends or Tor.
Tox said,
Go on.
nothing me of this guy. Right, in all seriousness, genuinely,
Yeah.
I am a fan of Tox. He took it too far,
How?
calling virtual because if he'd gone up, right? What's your opinions on Solary?
I don't give a shit about them, obviously.
Exactly. Imagine if Espanol had come
Espanol.
up. You'd be rooting for them to lose. If Tox scores an own goal, you'll be straight to Twitter going,
Oh,
what's he said
100%,
about this? He would have brought so much to the RLCS. And I'm not saying that Solary won't. Maybe they will. Maybe they come in and they cause all sorts of splashes and they're really nice or massive dicks or really aggressive or whatever. But I know for a fact that Espanol would have been excellent. And I think that you need bad guys.
We definitely have different definitions of the word fan.
I'm a fan of anything that makes the RLCS more entertaining.
So when you say
Tells
you're a
the story.
fan, you're not a fan of him. You're a fan of what he would bring to the RLCS.
I'd want it in the same way that it was nice to root against Flight. It would have been nice to have rooted against
So
RCD
you're
Espanyol.
okay. So you would have been you're not a fan of him. You're not a fan of the team. You're a fan of the drama that they would have
Absolutely.
brought with them,
Hopefully for one season and then down again.
and then
they
back
bring
down
it
to
up
his
again.
funniest. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just like seeing that, the comeuppance. I like to witness the comeuppance.
I did see as well that somebody, I think it was Virtuoso. Let me just find it real quick. Alright, yeah, Virtuoso quote retweeted Tox's tweet saying most undeserved loss ever and said, fucking deserved, get the fuck out tweeting mid-series. Which I think is just great. I love that anger. I think that's quite fun. And
Put him to the curb.
I saw somebody else, I can't remember who this was, who found Tox's tweet saying, yes boys, made RLRS like the first season. Query tweeted it, said, oh shit, congrats man. Like after they lost and stayed in the RLRS, which I always appreciate and love. I think that's so funny.
I did see that was Tox's pinned tweet. I wonder if it still is. Him saying, we've made RLRS, so happy. Yeah, he's not following me. Bastard. Yeah,
not?
his top pinned tweet is RLRS boys from February 9th. He was so proud.
It's so funny.
Mate, next season, they'd be a great addition to the RLCS.
Thing is, as the team
Style.
and the mates, would you imagine that team atmosphere now?
Oh, yes.
he's gone. Surely he's gone.
Depends how good he actually is. Like, you said you noticed some mistakes, but they'll know if he is irreplaceable.
Yeah, I very much looked under a microscope at every little thing that went wrong, and everybody was making mistakes. Ultimately, that's why they lost.
Exactly. So it's difficult to say, but I mean, to be that toxic, you have to be the best player. If he isn't, if he's the second best, then he's gone. I agree.
Yeah.
Because that's the sort. It's a it is a he's a luxury player. If he's that toxic and can tilt you out that much, but it's like what Astral was when he first came to Dignitas. He was a luxury player, and thankfully, Panda and Yukio and Verge have managed to sort of polish that turd into the beautiful shiny diamond we see today.
And something else that was very cool is that all the pros, or a load of the pros, were also streaming alongside this. They're sitting in their own comms channels, or they muted, or they left, or whatever, and they also streamed alongside it, so you could go into any chat and just see what was going on with their individual perspectives.
One of which was Violent Panda, who I didn't know this was going on. I jumped into the longest game, of course, but I didn't see any of the individual streams. So it turns out that Panda was streaming for 3 hours before this even started, thinking it'd be another 3 max. So 6 hours, it's doable. But a certain Stumpy Goblin happened to stumble upon him when he was a few drinks deep, right?
Yes. So, my best mate, 2-time world champion Violent Panda, he thought it'd be a good idea to, like I said, do a little stream and then go into this, finish it off after 6 hours or so. 6 hours max. It could have been 4.5 hours in the end. And he was streaming for, I think, about 5 hours at this point. So it was around midnight where I then tuned into his stream. And I was just chatting in there, and he was drunk. Quite frankly, he was already a bit pissed. Because he hadn't eaten that day, he said, because he was waiting to have dinner. And he had 6 beers from Lidl, right? And I thought he'd be able to afford nice beers as well, as opposed to like cheap own brand ones. But he went and got the cheap ones that apparently his dad bought, so he didn't buy them. So that was a bit pathetic. So then he said, in quite a desperate voice, "Stumpy, please join me." I was like, okay, fine. So my computer was completely turned off. I was in the living room. Girlfriend went to bed, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go on my phone on Discord. And we had just a really nice chat for about 2 hours, just about stuff. Like, things, we spoke like maybe about 10 minutes about the game in total, but we spoke about like where he used to go to school. Apparently he was suspended from school at points. His history like in games.
Did he say why?
Because he was addicted to gaming, and so his grades slipped.
Is that before he made it?
Before he made it, yeah. Before he made it in Rocket League and
Wow.
everything. He was playing like League of Legends apparently, and was
Yeah.
just like, well, yeah. He got kicked out of a private school because he said it was like for really clever people, and he wasn't one of the really clever people. And then he went to university and dropped out to do Rocket League, but he was doing
Wow.
electrical engineering.
You don't really think about these pros being intelligent, apart from like Tylacto, who's also a genius.
So
and
that's literally
some of them
what I
are way
said.
too smart.
And
Yeah.
everybody told me off. I said, I wasn't aware that you were actually clever. And he
Who told
was
you
like, Panda. He was
His
like, what do
chat?
you mean? And his chat was
Oh.
also like, what? I was like, yeah, like, no offense, Panda, but you're fucking stupid. And he
Agreed.
was like, you know what?
Dumb accent.
I don't think I am. And we had a little chat about that. But no, it was lovely. Chat, we were enjoying it. I read him a bedtime story at one point.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a nice little
That
bedtime
sounds
story.
so sweet, man.
It was very nice. And then I got a DM from Paco to join the casters in their server, just to chat on the main stream. By the way, got like 5,000-6,000 viewers, which was awesome.
So good.
Yeah, had hopped in there, had a chat with them. So my like 20-minute stint being on the main stream got me on the Wikipedia page in the more commentators section.
Hey.
Sandwiched in between Gibbs and John Sandman. That's where your
That
boy
is
belongs.
a hell of a sandwich. Who was on there when you went on? So Paco, Sunless presumably.
Yeah, Panda came in. He said to me, I don't want to talk. I just want to listen. I was like, okay. So we dragged him in as well, and Rizzo.
Oh, cool.
So I had a nice chat to them. And yeah, Panda just came and had a little listen in. Mel was in Panda's chat, telling me off because I kept telling Panda to drink. And she was telling him to have water. And I was like, nah, don't listen to her. Fuck that. Come on. She was getting annoyed at me.
funny.
It was lovely. It was really, really nice.